Now that 12.22 has made it to live servers, our analysts have been on the grind researching the best performing builds of preseason. In today's video, we'll be covering 10 builds that are insanely OP and that could very well be nerfed in the coming patches. But before we get into it, be sure to check out SkillCapped if you want to truly get better at League of Legends. We're the only service that offers a money-back guarantee if you don't climb at least 5 divisions while actively using our service. We do this because our service really does work, and if it doesn't work for you, you shouldn't pay. Learn more at the end of this video or click the link in the description below. We hypothesized in our itemization guide that Fiora would become one of the strongest top laners in preseason, and she's exactly that. We've all come to know Ravenous Hydra as a really nice second purchase on Fiora, but that has all changed for preseason. Now that Ravenous has the crazy new Carnivorous passive that offers insane snowball power, you actually want to be rushing the item. It's so broken that Riot has had to issue a hotfix nerf, which should tone it down a little, but we still expect it to be a great rush. To put things into perspective, prior to the hotfix, Ravenous was winning 60% of the time as opposed to the 54% of Divine Sunderer, so a 6% gap. Even if this gap closes entirely, Ravenous will still be a great rush. If you're unaware, the Carnivorous passive provides bonus AD and Omnivamp whenever you kill a minion, and the amount is doubled upon killing a champion, cannon minion, or large monster. For someone like Fiora, who thrives in the side lane and wants to be constantly pressuring, it's going to be relatively easy to keep up stacks and reap the full rewards from the item. So the complete core build is a Ravenous Rush into Divine Sunder or Gore Drinker 2nd and Spear of Shojin 3rd. For runes, grab Conqueror with Triumph, Alacrity, and Last Stand. Bone Plating and Unflinching are the optimal secondaries. Blue build Ezreal is back, but you have to run it in the correct spots for it to be most optimal. For a quick TLDR in Iceborne, it has replaced Frostfire as a tank mythic, and the passive has been changed to Spellblade, which is what you see on Trinity Force. Unlike Trinity's Spellblade though, Iceborne provides a slow, which offers an insane amount of kiting power for Ez. You are giving up a considerable amount of damage by opting for Gauntlet over Trinity, so you need to be sure the defensive aspects of Iceborne are worth it. If you are playing into an enemy comp that has very little dive, and you are no threat of being hard engaged on, then there's no point in building Iceborne. On the flip side, if the enemy comp has a Hecarim jungle who's building full lethality along with a Zed mid, then the value of Gauntlet becomes extremely high. This build diversity is actually really nice because it allows for the players who are not on autopilot to be rewarded. The core build will consist of an Iceborne Rush into Manamune 2nd and Ravenous Hydra or Cyrilda's Grudge 3rd. For runes, run Press the Attack as the keystone with Presence of Mind, Bloodline, and Coup de Grace. Best secondaries are Free Boots and Biscuits. With Spear of Shojin back in the game, one of the biggest winners is one you may not expect, being Aatrox. The 2-item spike of Eclipse into Shojin is absolutely nuts and offers Aatrox a really amazing core into more squishier comps. The most common core build is Eclipse into Black Cleaver, which is really good for shredding armor stacking champs. When you're playing into squishier comps though, you don't really need that armor shred, so the raw burst power from Shojin works super well. Aatrox, being a champion that can thrive even when at super low health, can benefit greatly from the new Shojin passive. You gain movement speed based on your missing health, so this helps Aatrox stay in range to land Q and proc his own passive for a massive heal. By no means is Black Cleaver a bad purchase now, however Spear of Shojin should be prioritized when the enemy comp lacks those tankier champions. The complete core build is an Eclipse Rush into Shojin 2nd and Death's Dance 3rd. Pick up Conqueror as the keystone with Triumph, Tenacity, and Last Stand. Second Wind and Revitalize are the best secondaries. So far, Rod of Ages has been underperforming on most champions. However, one mid laner who's benefited most from the item is Aurelion's Soul. It's been a long while since we've covered Aurelion in one of our videos, but he's actually in a pretty solid spot for preseason. Soul really didn't synergize very well with any of the other mythic items, and there was even a time when the support item Imperial Mandate was most optimal for him. Now that Rod is back in the game, it provides Aurelion with a durable skirmishing item that he so desperately needs. Being a shorter ranged champion, you need to be in the enemy's face to be effective on Soul, so the health from Rod and Rylai's allows him to thrive so much more. The core build you'll want to run is a Rod of Ages Rush into Rylai's 2nd and Zanya's or Shadowflame 3rd. The rune page consists of Electrocute with Taste of Blood, Eyeball Collection, and Relentless Hunter. Grab Mana Flow and Scorch for secondaries. One of the best Jax Show users is not actually a traditional tank, as Mordekaiser is seeing a ton of success with the item. It makes so much sense as well, as Mordekaiser is a champion who can annihilate his opponent in extended fights, and that's exactly when Jax is the strongest. The passive on Jax grants ramping armor and magic resist, and at max stacks you gain % health damage and healing. After rushing Jax, you'll build a Rylai's second and round out the core with a Sunfire Aegis. Remember, Sunfire is a legendary item now if you're confused why it can be purchased third. On 3 items, Mord becomes this ultimate drain tank that deals a crazy amount of consistent damage over time. To amplify extended fight power even further, it's Conqueror as the keystone with Triumph, Tenacity, and Last Stand. Optimal secondaries are Second Wind and Revitalize. We mentioned how a Ravenous Hydra Rush works extremely well on Fiora, but what about on junglers? It's arguably even stronger, and Rengar is one of the biggest winners. It's just the perfect rush item now for Rengar, as he loves being able to build Tiamat to help his clear, while the Carnivorous passive makes his snowball potential even more ludicrous. After completing your Ravenous Hydra, second item really depends on preference. You can go for a Bruiser type setup with Gore Drinker and Spear of Shojin, or opt for an Assassin build with Duskblade and Lord Dominix. When playing into squishies, the Duskblade will be best, while Gore Drinker will allow you to match other bruisers or tanks better. For runes, pick up Electrocute with Sudden Impact, Eyeball Collection, and Relentless Hunter. Magical Footwear and Futures Market are the way to go for secondaries. Although Radiant Virtue is a tank mythic item, it's actually finding the best results on melee support champions, most notably Leona. Virtue is definitely the more supportive tank mythic, as its passive amplifies allies' power. You can only activate the passive by using your ultimate though, which is why it's extremely strong on a hard engaged support like Leona. You give your allies ability haste and bonus healing when the Guiding Light passive is procced, which provides really nasty all-in power. The cooldown of Radiant Virtue's passive is 60 seconds, so it's always going to be up throughout the early to mid game whenever Leona has her ultimate. After rushing Radiant Virtue, go into Zeke second and Wardstone third. Glacial Augment is the keystone, followed by Hex Flash, Biscuits, and Cosmic Insight. Bone Plating and Unflinching are the optimal secondaries. Statistically speaking, one of the most insane Spear of Shojin users in preseason is Hecarim. This isn't Spear as a late game purchase either though, as Hecarim players are winning at absurd rates while rushing the item. Spear provides such a massive power spike for Hecarim, as he's a champion who can decimate his opponents in skirmishes. Shojin is quite literally one of the best skirmishing items, as it provides a crazy amount of ability haste. Let's also not forget that the second passive on Spear provides movement speed, which benefits Hecarim more than any other champion due to his own passive converting movement speed into AD. After rushing Spear, you have a few different options. You'll always pick up Manamune, but whether you go Duskblade or Divine Sunderer depends on the game. When against squishies and you're super far ahead early game, Duskblade works great, while into more tankier comps, Divine Sunderer will be most powerful. The rune page is Phase Rush with Nimbus Cloak, Celerity, and Water Walking. Eyeball Collection and Treasure Hunter are for secondaries. The best Heartsteel user in the entire game right now is Shen. Heartsteel is the new tank mythic that provides a crazy amount of health, 800 to be exact. Shen benefits from stacking health more than most champions due to how his ultimate scales. The shield on Shen R scales with 16% of his bonus health, so by rushing Heartsteel while going into Titanic Hydra second, you have 1300 bonus health from just 2 items. It will actually be even more than this though due to the active on Heartsteel. Each time you use the Heartsteel active, you are given even more bonus health, so the synergy with Shen is super nuts. All this health is amazing for Shen's ultimate, but that's not the only godlike synergy it has. The passive on Titanic Hydra scales off 2% of your bonus health, so when you complete this 2-item core, you'll be receiving an extra 26 AD. Everything just comes together so nicely for Shen with this build, and it's currently one of the most broken in the entire game. Shen's solo Q win rate is over 54% right now, which is almost unheard of. For the rune page, you will run Grasp as the keystone and dip into Domination for secondaries, picking up Cheap Shot and Ultimate Hunter. Jax is back and more than ready to attack, as the reintroduction of Spear of Shojin has been huge for him. Spear slots in perfectly as a second purchase on Jax and provides him with a massive 2-item spike. Rush item will be a Divine Sunderer, and combined with Spear, grants Jax immense dueling power. With all the ability haste from these 2 items, Jax W has near perma uptime. Most champions cannot fight Jax when his E is available, and this haste stacking build gives opponents an even smaller window to where they can fight back. If you want to play that godlike split push dueling champion for preseason, then Jax is definitely the way to go. Complete core build is a Divine Rush into Spear of Shojin second and Frozen Heart third. Keystone is Lethal Tempo with Triumph, Alacrity, and Last Stand. Grab free boots and biscuits for secondaries. Alright guys, before we wrap this up, let's tell you a little more about SkillCapped. So, we offer a 5-division rank up guarantee, and think that's a pretty crazy thing to offer. It's like a gym membership guaranteeing you'll get ripped. Your local gym would go bust if they offered that, right? Not us. We've offered this for years because our service really does work. It works so well, in fact, that we're able to produce by far the largest catalog of premium league guides on the internet. We add over 20 videos a week with over 1,600 guides curated into over 100 courses no one can compare. We've also sent challenger players into ELO Hell 714 times and counting, where they commentate how to carry live. They also respond to all questions asked. Sign up today for as little as $6.99 a month if you are serious about improving. So there you have it, guys, 10 of the most broken builds for Preseason 13. Of course, there are plenty of other builds that are extremely strong right now as well, so be sure to let us know what you've been experimenting with in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.